Yo, welcome to another replay analysis. This is actually, I think, the third one of the day today. Doing a lot of replay analysis today, but you guys will know that if you're watching on YouTube. What's up, guys? It's just another random video. Welcome. This is, what league is this again? Badminton? I'll come back to that when I see what he says. I can't remember what he said. But this is going to be a Protoss versus Zerg. Basically, it's another replay analysis. So what happens is basically we just help the person we're looking at figure out what they're doing right, what they're doing wrong, how can they get better at what's going on. We're going to be looking at the Protoss's perspective. We're looking at Badminton. He said it's a Diamond 1 game, so this is Diamond level, almost Masters. And yeah, let's see what he's doing. Let's help him out. See what's going on. So we have our first probe going down to build a pylon. I like it. My frame... Sorry, if this video has some frame drops, I apologize. I don't know what the hell's going on with my computer right now, but I am definitely getting some frame drop shit going on. I like that you leave the probe here to after the pylon. That's fucking good. Good stuff. Making the gate, and then you scout with the gate. That'd be perfect. Perfect. I love it. Good shit. Build the gas after the gate. Nice. A little bit of a mess up there with your chrono boosted probe. You missed like a second. But, so not perfect, obviously. Also, anyone, I don't know, Badminton, if you're talking about you don't know how to properly set up a mineral line on this map, the way you can easily tell is if you want to ever know what close patches or what far patches are, obviously everybody, I'm not going to go into, I've done this so many times with details about like, always stack 2 probes per close patch first and then do 2 probes for far patch after, and then make sure your whole mineral line at the end of it is 2 per every patch. Everyone, I feel like by now, or if, you know, if you're new, go watch some of my old coaching videos. You'll fucking see it. Talk about it 5,000 times. But if you want to check out which is which, if you're in the middle of the game, if you click the patch itself and the amount says 900 or less, it's a far patch. And if it says 1800 or less, it's a close patch. So like if it's 1758, or sorry, 1755, 1790, 1775, that's a close patch. Close patches always have 1800 to start. Far patches always have 900 to start. And then also if you go to the replay and you just double click it, it selects all the close patches in yellow. If you double click the far patch, it selects all the far patches in yellow. It does it on every mineral line as well. So like if I turn on everyone vision, and I just click the patches, double click the close, double click the far. So that's how you can easily tell which is which. And again, you can also specifically click it, like I said before. And it just takes practice. It just takes practice to get used to it, but you'd always definitely try to stack the close patches first. That is definitely a good thing to do. Anyways, moving on. Your build so far seems fine. Other than you missed a probe for just a second there. That's not great, but not the end of the world for you. It was only like literally 1 second. Okay, as your probe goes into his base. That's huge already right there. Seeing that hatchery like that when you crossed it, like the hatchery is like 25, 30% of the way done. That's fucking huge. Because what that tells you is the Zerg did not go pool first. So you know what that tells you? Don't give a shit about building anything that is not a Nexus now. Like, don't build just your core. Don't build a second gateway. Don't build your second gas. Don't build anything else. Just build a Nexus. If your goal is to expand, that second you see that, guarantees you want to expand. That's like it's like super safe now. And now you've confirmed, okay, this is important too. You know what this tells you? There's no proxy hatch, or there's no third base, essentially. Like, he didn't go for a quick 3 base. He doesn't have a drone kind of like running around you and trying to go to a third. This tells you he cannot afford another hatchery on the map, so it's guaranteed a 2 base opener to start. And if there's a gas, then it tells you it's going to be speedling opener. So far, no gas. That it's still early, though. He could still take one. If your probe goes home now, it's okay. I'm not going to say it's the worst. Okay, so you go for a Nexus as a response. You take your core as a response as well. After the Nexus, this is perfect. Your placement is also perfect. Go back into probing right now. Perfect. Take your gas now would be perfect. Nice. And then build a... This probe should go mine that gas now as well. It's okay. You missed like one gas strip. Not the end of the world. But I feel like you should definitely have your 20th probe be the one who like builds the pylon and ultimately waits at this gas. This probe, you honestly want it to come back. Like, here, honestly, this is what I would tell you. This probe should actually build the core, and then you should right-click it in the gas. And then you should actually tell one of your mineral probes when it has, like, minerals in its hand or, like, when it's coming back to the patch, build the other gas, and then right-click the gas immediately and, like, restack the patch perfectly so you don't miss a mineral stack. That's actually better than having that one probe idle around for an extra, like, 5 seconds. Because it makes you miss a gas round. You actually don't miss a mineral cycle round if you do it the way I just said, where you like, the only thing is if you do what I just said, make sure you don't grab the probe when it runs to the patch. It starts mining the patch, and just before it grabs minerals, you rip it off the patch to go build the gas. Don't fucking do that. If you do that, then it was not worth it. But if you do it when it has minerals in its hand, or when it also, don't do it when it has minerals in its hand and it's about to turn it into the Nexus. Because if it's like right in the Nexus and you go, oh, come down here, build the gas, and then you right-click the patch and it goes with minerals in its hand, right away from the Nexus to build the gas, then it goes right back to the patch, and then it goes back to the Nexus again. It's not the end of the world, but it defeats the purpose of what I'm telling you to do. At that point, you might as well have just done what you did. You know what I mean? So you don't... Because either way, if you do it fucked up, you're missing a gas turn-in or you're missing a mineral turn-in. And if you want to maximize, that's how you maximize. You just... let the job finish, and what makes sense with it is if minerals are in its hand, or if nothing's in its hand and it's coming back to the patch, like if it just got minerals in its hand, or if it's coming back to the patch now, you take a quick detour, build the gas, and then you would then either, with minerals in its hand, send it to the Nexus, or vice versa, with nothing in its hand because it just turned in the minerals. You come down, mine it, and then mine the patch. Either way works. I hope it makes sense. If it's too much for now, don't even worry about it. What I just told you is not that big of a deal. It's just a little bit more efficient than what you just did. Another way, honestly, another thing you could do, or yeah, no, just kidding. What you did would still be more efficient than what I was about to say. Well, yeah, we'll go on to the next topic. All right. So your probe is chilling. I would say right now, don't give a shit. This is a moment, okay? This is a big moment. You doing this right here, I don't agree with. Because what just happened is you just waited like 30 seconds outside of his base. Watch this. You get down the ramp at around 1:30, right? Like you stop here right about 1:30, give or take a second. And you sit there for 30 seconds. And then you start moving it to scout the thirds. I don't agree with the fact that you just did this, because the longer you wait, the more likely your probe will not get in the base and it will die. Every second you wait now increases the chances that his queens will be up and also his zerglings will be out if he wants to make any early zerglings. And what really matters right now is not seeing the third. What matters instead is seeing the gas. That's what matters. Because seeing if the third is or is not there doesn't tell you everything. But seeing if this dude fucking actually took a gas right after you left, or if he's still gasless, that's a big fucking deal. That's a huge deal. That tells you so much more about what he's doing. So if you waste a bunch of time like this, your probe could literally die as it goes up the ramp now. Because you're not going to approach the ramp for a long time. And you actually don't even... Or do you go in? Okay, now you're going in. You go in 53 seconds after you sat there. And I'm not saying that you should have gone in right away. I kind of would have wanted you to, though. Like, I would have actually said it would have been a good idea to go in at, like, 1:30 just to see if he's going to even start a gas. But even then, I would say if you would have gone back in, like, 2 minutes, like, right away into the gas, you could have definitely got back in there before queens were out. Queens are in production. You can tell by the hatchery. It's going crazy with it. The lings are out. Now, do you see the gas? You see... So, you just saw no gas, by the way. You saw no gas. And you want to know what that means if there's no gas? The fact that we're this late now and there is no gas, that is a sign of a player who could potentially have a proxy hatch. Let me show you why that makes sense, okay? Let me show you why that makes sense. This is a humongous fucking scout you just had right there. And imagine if you'd have done it a little bit earlier. What about top gas? I'm going to explain why you can tell he doesn't have a gas. 2 seconds. Watch this. It's very obvious if you know what to look for. So, I would say the only thing I think you fucked up on at this base is you didn't give yourself a chance to look at the mineral line or the larva. So, what I would say is I don't want you to run the probe down here into the mineral line, or I don't want you to go behind it either. I would say if your probe just ran to like right there. So if you came down to like right there, because again, you're not scouting at like 145 anymore before the hatchery's done. You're scouting at 224 way after the hatchery's been done now. If you scouted to like right there, to the edge of the hatchery, you could have had a vision net that would be about that large with your probe, and you could have seen how many drones are on the mineral line. And if there are 0, that is a big sign about build. And if he's stacking larva, that is a big sign about build. No fucking Zerg stacks larva if they're going to make drones. That's a sign. If someone stacks larva, they're fucking all in, okay? That's a sign of an all in. Now, going further, you got 4 lings. Here's how you can tell this guy's not mining gas. Number 1, there is no drone mining gas going in and out of the hatchery. And number 2, the pool is not upgrading speed. How can you tell the pool's upgrading speed? The graphic of the pool changes if it is upgrading speed as opposed to if it's not. When it's not upgrading speed, the pool's very calm. The water's somewhat calm in the pool, whatever. It's very, very calming, okay? Like just watch it again. Come on, probe, hurry up. So the pool's very calming, and the pool also, the spikes on top are really chill. The pool is overall pretty chill. It looks like a normal day, and it's like a pool in the fucking backyard. When the pool upgrades, the sides go. They like jiggle up and down a little bit. It actually has this like contraction type shit going on, and the water inside the pool is a lot more chaotic. It has like major movement going on in the pool when it's upgrading. It's a substantial difference. Just like how when a hatchery is making a queen, watch the hatchery for a second, okay? Don't look at the bar. Do not look at the bar. Look at the hatchery itself. Watch the actual graphic of the hatchery, and look at how the hatchery goes like it does these like contractions. Watch the building. See how it's doing these contractions? Like the middle is going like. Now look what it's over. It's super calm. It's just like it's doing exactly what it did before, but way fucking slower. Now we'll do it again with the hatchery, like at the natural, before the queen starts. Watch this. It's really easy to see like before it starts, and then once it starts. Look at this shit. Look what a hatchery looks like before it starts, and then right after it starts making a queen. So watch the hatchery, calm, and now it's fucking like, it's going crazy. It's substantial how much different that is if you kind of have learned what that looks like. Okay. Now, go back to you again with your probe. So you come in here, and now let's just assume, okay? Let's assume instead of your probe being like right here, your probe could have been like right here if you would have went straight down, which would have it would have increased your scout time, like the length of how long you're going to be in this base, by like an extra 3 seconds, right? If your probe went down, so like when you're like right there, your probe could easily have been here by now. What would you see? You would see a Zerg player who is not stacking larva. You would also see a Zerg player who is making drones. You know what this tells you? This tells you there's a fucking third hatchery, and the fact that he's making drones means that the chances of it being proxied are very low. This is a sign that tells you what the Zerg is doing with the resources. So again, at this point, you don't know if he's gasless or not. The first time you were in his base, you saw no gas, but that was like when the pool was like 20%. That's still late gas, even if it is going to be a gas. But drones and no larva stacking means this is probably not an all-in right off the bat. And you also, I don't know if you're paying attention, but your probe actually saw the fucking drone earlier too. if you watch this, right here, like right as you move the probe, your drone saw the hatchery, or the drone going to make the hatchery, like right here, right now, as you leave going up. You like pass by it. You saw it? Okay, good. So I mean, this all these signs. If you would have paid attention to the drones here, if you actually saw that and you saw that there was no gas, that scout was actually good. How you did it, how you went back in and checked. You know that this dude is gasless. Okay, he's gasless. So what does gasless mean? And all the reasons we just explained. What does gasless mean? Gasless means he has the ability to make everything that doesn't cause gas, and he can do it really fast. Gasless means the Zerg is going to have a larva surplus, but he's not going to have the ability to use things that cost gas, like Zerglings with speed, or roaches, or ravagers, or things like that right away. The units that he wants to use with gas, those are going to be later, okay? So you now, as the Protoss player, depending on what you want to do, so you're going for a robo, okay? You're also going for a... Are you doing B2GM, Bad Manner? Just out of curiosity. Is this supposed to be a B2GM, or what are you doing? I mean, I can go through it and watch it, but you're doing it all into him. Okay. Okay, makes sense. I was going to say, robo only really makes sense if you're going to fucking all in him, honestly, at upper levels. Okay, so that's fine. I don't actually mind that you built the robo this fast then, but I would say this. Watch this. Check this out. Let's see exactly how you built your build then, with what you saw. So you start pylon 2. Core is almost done. You're scouting around his base right now with your probe. And you go for a stalker you go for a Chrono boosted stalker, and you go for a warp gate. And your probe is currently at the top base, getting ready to go into the main of the Zerg player. Here's what I would say. This is what I would say. If you're gonna all in your opponent, it would make the only time this would make sense the way you did this, in my opinion. I'm not gonna lie, I agree with your stalker, Chrono. I would say you could have actually gone robo first, because there's no pressure if you would have scouted faster. So let me explain the thought process here, okay? If you want to go tech before unit, which gets your tech out quicker, like your immortals or your prism or whatever the fuck you want to do, you can make that quicker by bypassing the gas cost of these units and going for the tech first and getting these second. If your probe went into his base much faster than what it did, you could have confirmed he's gasless faster, and you could have taken that risk, which is actually not a risk if the Zerg is gasless. If you confirm the Zerg's gasless by maybe like 2 minutes instead of 2:30, you know what I mean? So that would be a great way to do it. But because the Zerg player has an Overlord flying in your base, and you are going to all in him, and you want to blind his ass before he sees it, I'm totally okay with you Chrono boosting a stalker this fast. Totally fine. I'm on board. And if you're going to make the stalker, you might as well make the warp gate. I'm on board with it too. That's totally fine. So what you've done so far is fine. Just I want to make sure you understand that you had options in this game if you would have scouted faster. Okay, so you make a robo. This Overlord will most likely still see the robo though. If the Zerg scouts up, he'll still see the robo. Because that's the power of an Overlord. Okay, so he barely doesn't see it. That's super good news for you. Okay. Nicely done. You didn't build your robo like right in the way. You built it at the edge of the pylon. That's was nice. What do you Chrono Boost now? You second Chrono Boost your gateway. Okay. Very aggressive. You're not building any probes though. Okay. I don't know how much I agree with this. Because I feel like what this is now, I feel like this is a defensive Chrono. Because you're Chronoing your fucking Nexus again now. And I mean, first of all, you went Stalker first, which is already defensive as it is to blind your opponent. But you're Chronoing your Nexus, or your gateway again. I would say this is okay. Chronoing your gateway twice is okay, especially that you confirmed that he's gasless. If you just said, fuck the scout, let him have it, I'm going to go for double Adepts. I would be like, that's totally fucking fine. Because what are you going to do? You're going to make him probably fall further behind by the fact that he does not have speed, and you punish his larva to make them into lings because otherwise his drones will die, and you also even try to kill drones. You might even try to kill lings as you run around because again they don't have speed. You might even kill some creep tumors and delay creep with your adepts. You might it just slows the Zerg down a little bit to make your future all in stronger. I would be okay with that if that was why you double chronoed the gateway in the first place. But if it's defensively purposed, I think the chrono on the gateway a second time is a waste. Because if you made a second chrono on the gateway because you're afraid that lings are going to kill your probes while your stalker is busy on the overlord, not worth it. Literally not worth it. The reason why it's not worth it is because you're going to kill this overlord super fast as it is. It's going to die fucking soon. And if probes do come in your mineral line, I think you're honestly better off if you were just chrono boosting probes and you actually just pulled the probes back just for a second while your stalker came to kill the lings and you went forward and you mined the minerals again. You'll have more probes that way. And you got to realize as well, the Zerg is even falling, like it's totally worth it for you to, it was 100% worth it for you if the Zerg actually loses the larva for lings that die in your base because it dies to, the slow lings die to a stalker. And then also the overlord dies. And all it was for you, the negative for you was you had to pull your mineral line at the natural just for a second, for like maybe 10 seconds, and you go back and mine it. That's totally worth it. Zerg is definitely behind there. As opposed to, what if the Zerg does not send lings into your base, and you chrono boost out an adept that just sits here? Like, what if the Zerg doesn't send lings in your base? Because he already sees you being defensive with the overlord by killing the overlord. You know, what if he, like, he might want to run in the natural. That is possible. But if he doesn't run in your natural, you just chrono boosted adept out for like no fucking reason then, if it's just for defensive purposes. And we'll see what happens in a second here. I just think the odds are in your favor to chrono boost your Nexus if you're going to chrono boost your Nexus. And now your stalkers don't kill the overlord and there's no lings in your base.
Glory to the Daylon.
So again, if this was not for the purpose of aggression, I think it's a mistake chronoing it twice. Like, we're talking about really fast. Like, your adept should already be walking across the map to attack him, essentially. Not sitting there. Okay, what do you make here? So, one chrono boost I would say is wrong already. Okay, very interesting. We'll talk more about this in a second. We'll see what the plan for that is, but very interesting. Very weird. I would, now that you're going for this, 100% you should be chronoing probes nonstop. This is fucking gas intensive. No matter what you do with this, Colossus or Disruptor, it's fucking gas intensive. Because you know what this needs to be paired with? Fucking Warp Prism speed. If you go Colossus, not necessarily, but you need to actually get Colossus range if you go for Colossus, which is expensive as well. But if you go Disruptor, it needs to be paired with Disruptors, with a Warp Prism speed. So either way, this is fucking gas expensive. Because again, this is not a macro RoboBay. This is a 2-base rushed RoboBay, which the only reason why it makes sense, and you're going Disruptors because you're making a Warp Prism. So it's going, like if this was Colossus, not worth it to make a Prism. You'd be much better off if you had faster resources. And did you chrono boost out that Warpism? I don't think you did. You definitely shouldn't. Oh, you did. You did. You should not chrono boost this Prism. You're wasting chronos like crazy. Because again, what's the Prism for? If you were going to go to his base to do warp in timings, 100% yes, chrono boost out that Prism. If you're going to RoboBay his ass though, this is the biggest waste. Because what does this Prism need to do? It needs to pick up the RoboBay unit. And what are you going to do then? You're going to wait to pick it up. So this is a fucking waste. Your Adepts have been sitting there, which is a waste. And your Prism's going to sit there again, which is going to be a fucking waste. So essentially, the ways I would change your build so far would be Non-stop, like 1 chrono on the gateway is totally fine for like when you killed the overlord. That was great. Thumbs up for that. Other than that, never chrono your gate again. Like, don't even touch the fucking gate with a chrono. You honestly might want to barely make units out of the gate as it is. I would say it'd be okay if you added in adepts or extra stalkers. I don't give a shit. But your gateway is not the priority. Like, make units whenever you have extra money, when you're not teching and you're also not building probes. Like, because you're already doing those things. So your first cost is probes, your second cost is tech, then you make excess gateway units. So if your gateway has idle time of 4 seconds here, 2 seconds there, 3 seconds there, that's okay. Because again, you're rushing tech, and this is what a lot of your game is based off of right here. This is a massive part of your game. So what you should be chrono boosting is probes for now, to increase gas income and to increase mineral income with your probes at your natural. And you honestly, you should start a prism when you, like, as soon as the robo's done, rush that fucking robo bay. And a robo bay is a 46-second build time. A prism is a 36-second build time. So what does that mean? It means you should build the prism second to the robo bay, because you have 10 seconds after you build the robo bay before you need to start a disruptor. Make sense? You have 10 seconds of like leeway of excess. So your prism is chilling. You pick up your depth. So like, this is, I don't agree with this. Okay, so you actually are going for prism speed with Colossus. I don't agree with this at all. I think this, like, the power of this is your Colossus. First of all, I'll say this. This build works way better against Terran. Prism with Colossus is way better against Terran. Why is it better against Terran? Because Terran has Marines and SCVs and things like that. As soon as a Terran gets a Viking, it stops being effective. You know what Zerg has? Zerg has fucking Queens and Creep Spread. And this build would fall apart super hard against Queens. Like, Queens are going to shit on this build. Because you want to know what? You're getting Warp Prism speed, which is, it sounds nice in theory, right? But your Colossus always has to go within Queen range to shoot Queens. So it's not, Disruptor way more effective. Way more effective with Disruptors. Against a Zerg, I would say. Now here's another thing about this build. You make 4 Adepts to go attack your opponent. Again, like, what is this? What is the purpose of the 4 Adepts? I understand the logic there. You're trying to slow the Zerg down so that this fucks the Zerg even harder. I totally get it. In theory, on paper, that idea makes sense. But I feel like you could have done this idea way more effectively. For instance, let the Zerg fucking scout your robo. You want to know why? Hear me out, okay? Hear me out. Go Adept, 1 chrono boost or 2 chrono boosts on the gateway. If you want to do what you did, that's totally fine. Super fucking fast adept attack on the Zerg's base. Do not chrono boost the gateway anymore. 3rd gateway unit is a stalker, and the stalker kills the overlord, and you know what the overlord dies before? The overlord dies before you start the robo bay, because you can guaranteed make 2 adepts with a chrono boost and then a stalker before you start a robo bay. Guaranteed. Like, you're going to be making those adepts fucking fast if you double chrono them. And then your stalker comes out, and then finally you throw down the robo bay. And then you make, with, like your base is now, you make Colossus with, you make out of the robo, when you start the robo bay, you make the warp prism, and then you make the Colossus and the prism speed if you want to do that way. And then your stalker defends just like it is, but instead of having your prism on the map right now, with 4 adepts, it would be a prism that would be finishing as the robo's done, and it would be sitting there in your base while you then chrono boost out a Colossus twice, I would say. You want to probably chrono boost the Colossus twice so you get it fucking quick, because again, that's what your build's all based off of. You should not be chrono boosting prism speed unless you have excess. You should honestly just chrono boost out the Colossus. Don't chrono boost the prism either, because it doesn't change any timing of the attack. Just the Colossus, because the Colossus is fucking a minute. It's like a full minute to build that shit. It's a long time. So you could speed it up a lot if you chrono boost it twice. So what would happen then? Instead of this being here with 4 adepts, you would have just 2 adepts But they wouldn't be here at 4 minutes and 30 seconds. They'd be here probably like at 3 minutes. Like way faster. Or like 3 minutes and 20 seconds or something. Like super early. And the guy's gasless. So what you could do is you could shade into his base and like you could run this way against the wall as you shade against the wall. Like up here in the open off creep area. You kill like 2 lings, 4 lings, whatever. You shade over. And then you run this way and you shade down this way. Like you throw shades again out of the main base down towards behind his natural and you run your depths this way. And you start killing more lings again, or you you fucking kill drones if you can. And then you just keep doing this over and over. Like you avoid the queens as much as possible, and you never stand there and tank the lings. You always kite the lings and run away. And if he has a lot of lings, if he has a fuckload of lings, you do not go for drones. If he's got way too many lings, all you do is you start here and you run this way as you shade downwards, and you can like shade like so. Like for instance, if your depths are, or if your depths are here, you could shade like over here, and you could run this way. You kill ling off creep. You shade over here. It's done. You could do it again. You could now this when you're over here, you could shade over to this like from here. You could shade that way, and you run this way away from the lings, and now you're over here, and you do it again. You shade blah 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 whatever blah blah blah. Try your best to avoid the lings on creep as much as possible. And kill lings, because the more larvae you can make the Zerg make into lings and not drones is fucking amazing for you. Especially if he doesn't have speed. But again, your build is super heavy based on a good Colossus timing, because that's what you're going for. This is the power of your build. So if this Colossus finishes and it sits in your base for like 50 seconds, it's a super fucking waste. So what do these adepts do? You kill a couple drones. You kill a couple drones. Look at your Colossus. Your Prism flies home now. And your Adepts are all dead. Your Colossus is still sitting there. It's starting to walk across the map to meet up, and now you go. But look at this. Watch this. You don't actually go across the map to attack the Zerg until 5 minutes and 26 seconds. And I'm not going to lie, a Prism going from here, there, like if your Prism is sitting right there, okay, like right here, you could literally load a Colossus as it spawns right there because of pickup range, the pickup radius. So if your Prism has to fly from this green box right here down to where it is right now, that's like one screen length literally. Like legit, if it's like right there would be where your Prism's sitting. And if you look at bottom left of the screen, that's where it is now, right? Or maybe a little bit more. Like I said it like right there. So it would be like right there. Just a little bit more. I think it would take the Prism about like 6 seconds to go from here to there. Maybe 5 seconds. 5 or 6 seconds. Not that long. Probably 6 seconds. But look how long your Colossus is done before it moves out. So again, you're moving out at 5:26. Your Colossus, and you also only Chrono Boost it once. And your Prism, or sorry, your Colossus finishes at 4:59. And it sits there until 5:06. No, it's still sitting there, sorry. Until around 5:15. And now it's like starting to actually leave your base a bit. So it's out there for like 15-ish seconds. And it's still not across the map yet. It's now meeting up with the Prism, and now it's going. So again, 5:26 is when you loaded that up to leave. And think about it. If you loaded that Prism up at 4:59, and it would have taken about 6 seconds to get to about there, your Prism could be where it is now at fucking 5 minutes and like 6 seconds. 5 minutes and 5 seconds. You could have been going just like you are right now 23 seconds ago. 23 seconds ago. And what happened 23 seconds ago? You were fucking around with the depths in his base. So what you're doing to your build, like look what the Adepts did. They forced a lot of lings. And you know what the Adepts are going to do either way? If you do the first version I said, with the 2 Adepts, you're going to force a lot of lings. It's going to force lings either way. You know why it's going to force a lot of lings? Because this dude went fucking gasless. And he needs to make more lings than what is normally acceptable now, because he's like, ah, shit. I don't have anything to defend Adepts. This is hard. it's gonna be hard for Zerg either way if he doesn't have speed. Gasless builds are fucking hard. They're rough. Now, you're putting, like I said before, you're putting too much pressure where your real timing is being delayed because you're doing your setup timing in the process. That's not great. You actually neglected your prism for like 30 seconds over here while it got its ass beat by a couple of queens, and now your prism is also weaker because of that. It's got like 26 damage done to it for real. The whole damage, which is not good either. But you get my point. Like if you're 2 adepts, the first 2 adepts would have gone out across the map. You know when you would have been attacking the Zerg with those 2 adepts? You would have been doing that when you the multitasking would have needed to have been make probes and make a robo and Chrono Boost my Nexus. It's not that hard. It's just simple macro. Not multitasking the Prism and the Colossus timing right at the same time as you're doing the adept timing. So your build doesn't line up very well. Is what I would say. Good morning, young man. Good morning. Good morning. Now you're making a bunch of gateways. And you load your prism up and you go across the map to attack. What are you making out of your robo now? I don't understand. Why make the Disruptor and the Immortal if you're going to make Colossus? I don't get it. This is just random at this point. If you're going to literally invest all the way into Warp Prism speed, like I said before, I think a Disruptor would be a better choice for Prism speed because you could actually land, pop drones, get out of there realistically. If you have a Colossus, you can still land and kill drones hypothetically, but queens will be able, like if you end up not target firing drones with your Colossus, then you just A-move it. If you attack queens with that Colossus, you're never going to kill queens. If he's got like 3 or 4 queens, he's going to beat your ass with 1 Colossus by itself. He's also going to beat the Prism's ass. And at least also, Disruptors can kill queens too. 2 Disruptor hits just insta-kills a queen. So, but I will say this. The fact that, here's the thing. The logic behind you going Colossus after an adept timing makes sense because you just made the Zerg make a lot of lings. And now what does a Colossus do? It fucking roasts lings like crazy. I'm on board with that. That sounds good. But now I would ask, why are you going to go for a Colossus range upgrade and then go for Immortals and Disruptors against lings that you just forced? Now it doesn't make any sense again. This would only make sense if your Scout of Adepts scouted a Roach Warren. And did you? Okay, you did. Okay, maybe you saw that. Okay, maybe you're ahead of the ball, bad manner. It makes sense if you scout the fucking Roach Warren. I'll get off your ass, okay? Get off your high horse, bro. I get it. I would say this, though. I'm not the biggest fan of the Immortal. I am more of a fan of the Disruptor because you saw Roach Warren. So good job on that. That's next level shit. That's above Diamond, I would say. So you're already... That's... If you did that as a response to roaches, that's good. Good shit. But I think the Immortal here is unnecessary. Here's why. Your Colossus... think about it like this, okay? It's a build-up process. Your... what's it called? Your Adepts forced lings, right? Your Adepts forced lings. Great. Wonderful. Awesome. Your Prism now has speed... and you're going to harass the Zerg player with your Prism. I think Prism speed, if you're going to make just 1 Colossus, is more than enough of an upgrade to invest into that. I think investing into the Colossus range upgrade is overkill if you're going to stop Colossus at 1 Colossus. I would say if you saw no Roach Warren and maybe like a Bane Nest, and maybe he was going to go for fast Hydras, then fucking by all means go for extended Thermal Lance. But if you're going to stop making Colossus at 1 Colossus... and you're expecting to get this attack eventually stuffed up by roaches, well, range or no range is not going to change how effective this is. And why is that? Because you're going to be going through his base with a Prism, and you're going to be dropping and loading and dropping and loading and dropping and loading. You're not going to be dropping your Colossus over here and like sniping drones on a mineral line or some shit like that. You know what I mean? Like it's not for literally sieging him. You're going to be shoving into his base. So it does not matter if you have range or not for this drop. All this does is it wastes 150 minerals and 150 gas if you're not going to make more Colossus to legitimately siege him. What is it? What does this upgrade represent? It's another disruptor. This is literally the same cost as a disruptor. I would rather you make more disruptors instead of this upgrade. Now here's another thing that you have. Disruptors could pair really well as well with the fact that you just made 4 more gateways on top of your 2 existing gateways to go to a total of 6. 6 gateways of Stalker with a few disruptors backing it up. Like let's say 4 disruptors backing up like 20 Stalkers. That's fucking legit. That's super legit at killing roaches. And what would also be good with all of this? You already have Prism Speed, which increases the power of your harass potential. Now, what if you slow his economy down, which is the whole point of this? And again, range doesn't matter because you're going to be doing it. Not only does it not matter for time, but it also does not matter for the purpose of the range. Because like I just explained the range because like you're not actually sieging him. You're flying through his base. So you're shooting drones at like 3 range away from drones or like 4 range away from drones. You're not shooting drones at 9 range. Like you're not attacking this mineral line like here and there 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 and there, or rather like there and then there. Like you're not attacking the mineral line from max fucking range and far away. You're not doing that. You're going to be attacking the mineral line with the prism that goes like this. Like behind, and then you like drop it there. And look how close you are to the fucking mineral line. That's like 3 range. That's 9 range. Oh, Colossus landing right there with 9 range could attack literally like all the way out to there. Like it can attack fucking far. So it's overkill. You don't need it. And again, like the purpose of the range, unnecessary. And the time it would take you to get this upgrade, by that point, you will have already have wanted to have done the damage that you're going to want to do. The longer you wait to do your pressure, because again, that's your build. The timing is everything when you're doing pressure like this. If you were to actually go, you know what, fuck it, let's wait for range. Not only does it not serve a practical purpose, but you would give the player 100 more fucking seconds to prepare for Colossus. So you want to get in there and do it fucking now. The faster you get in there and roast drones, the weaker he is to your follow-up of 6 gate. The faster you do it, the more likely you're going to kill more drones. So what do? You go in right away. Good. I mean, like I said before, you did delay it like we talked about earlier. That was also bad, right? You want to get in there fucking fast. The purpose is to get in there quickly. But now you're in there, and what are you doing? You're attacking a queen. You focus fire those drones. If your purpose of this is this, that's why I was saying, like, it would make more sense with the disruptor. If you let your shit target fire queens, you're not going to do nothing. And the fact that you're being so passive is it's unacceptable for the investment that you've put in here. There's nothing defending this base. You could totally fuck this base up. Like, you could easily put the Colossus there and kill the top half of the mineral line. Then you could fly around like this. Go down this way. Drop it here. Kill the bottom half of the mineral line. Pick it up. Go down this way. Go over here. Drop it there. Kill the left half of the mineral line. Pick up the Colossus. Go down. Get hit by the swarm maybe once or twice. Drop the Colossus here. Kill the right half of the mineral line. You know what I mean? Like, if you fucking fly away right now, what a waste. You don't want to fight queens with this. Killing lings would be okay, because he might make more. Like, this is the biggest waste. Your build is now fucked. Bad Manor, what are you doing, dude? No. Oh no, dude. This is now, the whole build's irrelevant at this point. Do you get what I mean though? Like, it would make sense sequentially that you could pressure with lings, fuck the economy up. You could then pressure with Colossus like you've set up here. Once again, fuck the economy up. And then ultimately your kill move is Colossus, or is Stalkers and Disruptors, because what is he gonna have ultimately to stop this? Roaches, because he showed you. And if it wasn't roaches, and if it was lings and banes and hydras or something like that, it would make sense to have Stalker Colossus as a follow-up with range. Like 2 more Colossus and like 20 Stalkers. You're just totally missing the beat right now with all of your pressure. Like, your Adepts did jack shit, and your it just delayed your Colossus timing, and your Colossus timing did even worse. Your Colossus timing honestly zapped a queen 2 times and ran away. Total mistiming there for the purpose of what you're doing. And now you have a ragtag army that's... You haven't actually slowed the Zerg down very much. Your Adepts did a little bit of slowing the Zerg down. They did. They did do something. They made the Zerg make more lings than he wanted to. That's the bigger damage you did. But how many drones did you actually kill? You killed 10 drones. That's actually okay. For the investment that you put into it, though, kind of scary. But killing 10 drones is okay. You did it at 5 minutes, though. Realistically, you want to know something? I'm going to throw a number out there for you, okay? I know this is Diamond 1, but I'm going to throw a number out there for you. When I play Gasless, at fucking 5 minutes in the game, I could have about 60 fucking drones. So if you kill 10 of my drones from 60 down to 50, that is not the biggest deal. Like, if you killed 10 drones when I had 33, and you knocked me back down to 23, like if your first 2 Adepts went across the map and did that, I'd be like, holy fuck, that's huge. That's massive. That's a big chunk of the economy of Zerg. Because again, you have to realize as well, right? It's not free to do that. You're not like just doing damage and that's it. You're also doing damage to yourself with those Adepts the way you did it because you delayed your Colossus like crazy. And then you didn't even use your Colossus. So that's like a huge problem for your build. Anyways, now what's happening now is you're playing a Zerg who's almost full power here. This Zerg, the fact that this Zerg was not prepared for what you had, and he has very manageable supply counts with you, this is scary for you. It's somewhat similar. Okay, your Disruptor completely whiffed as well. You're playing a very I mean, I'm not gonna lie. This is a very the way I would describe this build is very specialistic. It's very technical, and the way I'm telling you to operate it would make sense. But you've like the Disruptor idea right there. You didn't even micro Disruptor. You completely whiffed your shot. That was like swing and a miss right there. And you didn't use a Colossus at all either, the way you set it up. But the way I described it, I hope it makes sense. Because you would make such a fucking harder problem for Zerg to deal with if you did it that way. Like, you legit might even... remember how I talked about the Colossus? Like, land here, kill half the side, land here, kill half the side, land here, kill half the side, land here, kill half the side. You might fucking end the game doing that. You could legit possibly just straight up end the fucking game. If the Zerg only has 1 queen per base, and he's like has 1 queen smacking a Colossus, your Colossus will kill drones in 2 fucking swipes, and it takes 1 queen, probably, how much damage does the queen do again? 7, right? 9, sorry, 9. 7 range. It does 9 damage, and Colossus has 350 health, and it has 1 armor. You do the math on that. It does 9 damage until the shields are gone, and then it does 8 damage until the health is gone. Realistically, that would probably take like 30 fucking hits from the queen, roughly. Like around 27 hits. Or sorry, around like 27 to 30 hits. Somewhere in there. So that would take the fucking queen like half a minute almost to kill the fucking Colossus. Like 23 seconds. That's a long time. And that's assuming the queen would also have 100% uptime, which it doesn't because you have prism speed. You have a warp prism with fucking move speed. So this thing is going to blaze past the queen. Easy. Like, the queen will see it and be like, the Doppler effect, like, and it's like, smack, smack, okay, it's gone. It's fucking out of here. I mean, your build is very technical, though. This is way more technical than Diamond. And you can tell your opponent, even though you're kind of botching things here and there, your opponent's fucking just dead because he's like, what the hell is this? So, again, specialistic build. You're definitely going to steamroll people playing like this if you get better and better at it. Because they're just going to be like, this is not standard. I don't, like, for instance, if you play like this, you're the kind of guy that you play 100 ZVPs and you have 100 games of practice playing this style against 100 different Zergs. But a Zerg player has literally, if he plays 100 games and he plays you once, he has 1 game practicing against this because he played you. And everyone else he plays is like, this guy's going Void Rays. This guy's going Dark Templars. This guy's going for a 4-gate. This guy's doing something else. Like, this is non-meta, very specialistic, very specific. This is not a common build at all. So, yeah, no, like Zergs are definitely gonna have a hard time, like in general, playing against this shit because they are not gonna be used to it. So I hope it makes sense what we talked about, ways to improve what you did. Timing is fucking everything when you're doing a pressure build or an all-in build. You need to maximize those times. For again, if you're anyone out there who's like, "Ooh, this looks cool. How do I do that?" Just go back and listen to all the stages of what I said, because it makes sense if you prioritize your goals and you set them up in a staircase. It makes sense if you prioritize the right shit. So, for instance, like prioritizing chrono boosting out the warp prism. Yeah, early, like you get the point. Like we already talked about all of it. You just gotta make shit, like you gotta make an order of things that makes sense. But anyways, thanks guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed this replay analysis. I will see you guys in the next one. And until then, yo, Bad Manor, much love to you. This is a cool, honestly, yo, Bad Manor, for real. This is a cool game. This is a different, this was a different kind of game for StarCraft. So props to you for going outside the box and doing your own brand of StarCraft. Good shit, dude. Yeah, it was fun. Honestly, it was fun talking about it because it was just different. But thanks for watching, guys. I will see you in the next one. And until then, take it easy. Much love. Have a great day or a great night. And I'll see you guys next time. Peace, guys. See ya.